And welcome back, my fellow fiends. Last time, we completed the Assembly of Nihilo after a 6-year hiatus in attempting to do so. This time, we are at the bottom, and we are going to take on the end boss of the area. I guess I didn't truly complete it, since we haven't seen the last cutscene or the boss, but, you know, the dungeon itself is done. Going into the upcoming fight, got a couple of preparations that I took care of. First off, this is the team that I'm going to be running. It is tempting for me to include Zocho over Arahabaki, to have Rakukaja at my disposal, because he's the only good demon at the moment that has it available to cast, but I think being able to nullify press turns off of physical attacks is a much more useful feature, and that will be coming into play in the upcoming fight. Speaking of which, we absolutely want Kamudo, because this next boss is going to be very big on physical attacks. Another reason is because I don't need Rakukaja, is because War Cry should suffice for my purposes on top of the physical resistance. Otherwise, we've got Koppa, and I have manipulated the Kagatsuchi so that Dark Might will be in effect, so we can get some extra damage in and free turns, and once we have the time to set up Tarukaja, we can exploit that for even more damage. Plus, it would be nice if Koppa could get the full experience so that he could evolve after this fight. And then Kikura Hime, she's just here for additional healing and Tsukukaja support, and then she's probably just going to spend a lot of her turns passing, maybe throw in an occasional Rakunda, and that should be it. Another thing I want to draw attention to is that I did manage to recruit 4 Nias. So it was actually in the last video, I just forgot to mention it. Actually, it is quite similar to Koppa. He has Rakukaja and Dark Might at his disposal instead of Tarukaja, but that's all pretty useful stuff. And he resists Fizz. Tempting, but again, I want Koppa Tengu to get the full experience so that he can evolve off of this fight, ideally. Forget exactly how much experience this guy is, but here we are at the true core of the assembly. Let's enter it and see what awaits us. Also, I'm trying to get new functional controllers to play my PS2 with, because the one I was using is quite bad, and the one that I've picked up seems to be even worse, and it is just too much of a hassle to go back and get the other one to plug it in. So if you see any awkward inputs or I complain about missed inputs, that is why. I got a junk controller. But awaiting us in the true core of the Assembly of Nihilo, it is Hikawa. We have not seen him since the hospital. He was the one who attempted to sick a demon on us, and he is also the one who is responsible for kickstarting the conception. Oh, more than just considerable, I'd say. No, we are here to see our teacher. Now, we are going to be getting into this, but we are actually rapidly approaching where the various endings of this game start to become influenced. No, explain it to us. This is actually one of the things that I kind of dislike about the writing in this game, is that Magatsui is mentioned a lot, and it's a very big plot device, but, like, mechanically, it does not actually do anything in the game. I've always kind of just told myself that Magatsui doubles as the experience points in this game, but nothing in the game explicitly states that. Maybe MP stands for Magatsui points, who knows. In Shin Megami Tensei 5, which brought back the concept of Magatsui in a big way, it actually is a game mechanic, and is the thing that you utilize for your special moves. Reason? If you remember way back at the start of the game, when we first entered the Vortex world, a divine light chastised us for not having any reason and urged us to go find one. Hikawa has conceived his own reason. Hikawa's reason is the world of Shijima, a world of stillness, of stoicism, of unchanging nature and complete harmony among its inhabitants. And to conceive his reason, he needs large amounts of Magatsuhi. Nightmare system? What? don't like the sound of this. But yes, the Nightmare system is basically a fantastical weapon of mass destruction that utilizes Magatsuhi. And it looks like the Mantra HQ is ground zero for the initial firing. Speaking of things that are not reflected well on a mechanical gameplay level, the Mantra HQ getting nuked does not have nearly the adverse effect on Ikebukuro you'd expect. So not only does it utilize the power of Magatsuhi, it also takes it in return. Well, we do have a lead on Miss Takao now. Why wouldn't I be? She's my teacher. Yeah, I don't like your tone of voice, and I also don't like how you're dismissing us so out of hand. I will give you one thing, you probably shouldn't have been merciful, because we did actually get a pretty powerful backer. Now, despite his grandstanding, Hikawa himself is not a fighter. He has to have his demons do all the work for him. He 6 Ose on us, and if you've played a Megaten game before, you know Ose, very much a physical attacker. To start this off, let's just throw out a regular attack, get that Dark Might in. We want to take his offense down. He has Focus and he has Heat Wave, and he can use that to devastating effect. We'll also want to get a Tsukukaja up. Until we're ready to actually go on the offensive ourselves, Arahabaki is just going to pass, and we definitely want to get our evasion up and get his offense down just to start. Then, once we've got that taken care of, then we can transition to getting into our own offensive going. But yes, this is why, right there, Focus, that can be very deadly if we don't deal with it properly. Now we're going to start getting Tarukaja set up. Let me see. It might be worth it to, I think we can start going on the offensive. We're gonna start focusing some attacks up. Let's get another Tsukukaja going. How the rest of this fight's going to play out is going to depend pretty heavily on who he decides to attack here. I'm tempted to have Arahabaki focus there, but there is a chance that Kopa will get taken out immediately. Okay, no. For the record, when Heat Wave, if it's focused multi-target attacks, at least for attacks like Heat Wave, they only affect the first hit starting from the left on your party line, so the Demi-Fiend would be the one who had to tank the focused Heat Wave, and that is why I want Kamudo, because that can absolutely destroy us. So, yeah, that's why I have that set up in particular. Now that that's taken care of, that's one of the scarier things out of the way, and also, you know, Arahabaki will immediately end his turn there, and there is a good demonstration of why I don't care much for the strength stat. Even without any hard points of strength invested, I still did over 300 damage there, just utilizing buffs. Alright, we'll get the last Tarukaja up, and then we can have... Kopa get in on the offense. Kikurihime, at this point, she's just going to start passing until we actually need some healing. Let's, yeah, we've got evasion buffs up, so let's use a lunge. There's 631 damage, check that out. But we're not done there. Dark Might, get another focus punch off, 391 damage. So good, so good. Okay, yeah, we're definitely going to need to get some healing going on there. Get some nice critical strikes there. We will use a... tempting to use a Medea to spread some healing around, but let's use a Diorama instead, just to make sure Kopa actually says them. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. It's not a word I see too often in Japanese games. And hit him with another punch. Doing some excellent damage here. Nice! Great that he dodged there. And we actually should have this in the bag at this point. Yeah, we'll focus that up. Arahabaki, let me just double check to make sure he's focused. Yes. Thankfully, if you've already got focus in effect, you can't double use it. The game will let you know and prevent you from wasting your turn there, which I'm appreciative of. So let's get that lunge in. I cannot imagine this guy can stand up to too much more punishment. There we go. Easy peasy, nothing to it. Not enough experience to get Copa level up there, but I'm going to have an opportunity to correct that in the very near future. First order of business, though, let's deal with the level up we did get. Of course, it's an even number leveled up, so let's get a point of magic. I don't have any skills to learn at this point, so I'm not too concerned about getting levels on Unmastered Magatama. Speaking of Magatama, we get a very, very good one for defeating Ose. This is Anathema. We'll go over that once we get out of the cutscene. No maidens? This is Ose's way of communicating to us that the Assembly of Nihilo is no more, and that is quite literal. It is removed from our ability to fast travel to, and you cannot re-enter it at all. It is just closed down. See? Tightly shut. So, we have to get out of here. Now, I'm gonna head back to Ginza right now. We gotta heal up, but also, our next place to visit is actually Ikebukuro. We need to see the fallout of the Nightmare system taking it down, but also there's something that I want to get in the Labyrinth of Amala. That'll also be a good opportunity to top off Koban levels, which I want to do so that he'll evolve, because having a stronger demon than Tengu will be very helpful for a couple upcoming fights, and he's not too far off from a level up. It won't take too much for grinding. So I'll meet you in the Labyrinth of Amala to take care of what I want to take care of. Alright, here we are in the tunnel sequence. I just wanted to show off that if you manage to collect all the Maka in a tunnel run, you get a special message acknowledging the accomplishment. There isn't any real importance to doing so. I don't remember if I mentioned this in the previous video or not, but that is actually another effect that the luck stat has in those tunnel sequences, is that it increases the odds you'll come across an item while diving through the tunnels. It's a very weird function of the luck stat that not a lot of people mention, but it is one thing that it does. It basically guarantees that you'll get an item out of going through there. Not that anything you get is particularly great, but it is something, right? Anyways, where we need to be in the Labyrinth of Amala is right here, as a matter of fact. Going through this door, there is going to be a spirit awaiting us. The encounter rate is kicking it into overdrive in its best effort to annoy me, but right here, this spirit is a shady broker. Now, last time we were here, when we were talking, if we talked to this guy, we would not be high enough level to buy the special something that he is interested in selling us, because he is selling us a demon. This demon specializes in exploring dungeons and mazes. What this means is that he has every field skill in the game, and it is a very, very good purchase. For 15,000 Maka, we want it. Now that is pretty much all the Maka I've got, but it is well worth it. He sells us a Pisaka, which, as I mentioned, has every field skill in the game. You need to be level 28 to purchase him, but for that you get a guaranteed chance to run away, a encounter reduction spell, an encounter increasing spell if you want to level grind, Lift Toma and Light Toma, which will become very important in the near future. Watchful, so that he gets experience, which means that he is actually an excellent sacrifice battery. He can just stay in your stock, and if you need to pump up your demons on fusion, you can use them as a sacrifice. Basically, the only useless skills that he has are the default life drain, which actually I may have a use for that, but we'll see, and Lucky Find, which is a very weird skill. Let's just take a look at his skill list. Lucky Find allows him to locate treasure on the world map at random, but he has to be in the active party, which he himself is not a particularly good demon. He is entirely useful for his utility, so that's not too much, and I don't think I've ever seen this actually go off when I do have it, so don't worry about it. But let's Estoma up for right now. If you have already fused a Pisaka prior to this, this is probably the first real opportunity to register a demon in the compendium, because like I said, he makes very good sacrifice fodder because he's constantly getting experience, and he's definitely going to get a couple level ups before you feel like you might need to sacrifice anything. So I think it's worth it to have him registered in the compendium so you can pull him out. If you decide, I want to boost up this demon, let's use up Pisaka because he's already got a ton of experience. He's already got all the skills he needs anyway, so it's not like we're losing anything. Since this is the first Pisaka I've gotten, I don't have to worry about registering, but absolutely do make sure to register him if you've fused him previously and you have a different iteration of him logged in the compendium. You want to use him up for a sacrifice or something. Anyway, let's just use Rubarama here. This is where I want to, if I was going to do any extended periods of grinding, this is where I'd want to do it, because, the attract already wore off, but it's where it needs to be. We can run into some pretty powerful enemies like Eligors, Barris, we can run into Nues, we can run into Incubuses, all enemies that are very easy, well, not easy to take out, but give out very good experience, and at this point they're not too threatening to us, so this actually becomes a very good grinding spot. And we can very easily take them out with spells like Tornado, all the other stuff that I've got for taking these guys down. I don't have too much that I can do against this guy with our Habaki. Now that Bareth's down, he absorbs fire, so we can just use Fire Breath to take down this guy. There we go. Got a little lucky there. Oh, more enemies. One thing about Riborama that isn't really mentioned in the skill description is that it also increases the odds that reinforcements will appear in enemy encounters. But this is such a great spot for experience. We get the experience we need in a single encounter. Get Zanma here. I'm going to get rid of Shibabu since there is no chance I'm ever going to use that. The other stuff may situationally become useful. And get a Chakra Drop, very nice. And let's let Kopa's evolution continue. Upon evolution, he becomes Karasu Tengu, which you may or may not have run into in this very dungeon. But as you can see, he goes up another 4 levels, and he himself is not that great. However, Karasu Tengu also evolves, and the demon he evolves into is one of my personal favorites in the game, an excellent demon that I highly recommend picking up because he's so good. Now that we've gotten all this taken care of, we're going to return to Ikebukuro and see what's changed now that the the Mantra HQ has been fantasy nuked by the Assembly of Nihilo. Meet you there. Alright, here we are in Ikebukuro. As you can see, we've got an Ikusa here. Oh, Eerie Fiend? There is actually quite a few things for us to get to in Ikebukuro. As that guy mentioned, there is indeed a fiend waiting for us here, but we'll get to him in a bit. You can actually fight the fiend located in Ikebukuro after defeating Dante. However, I wouldn't really recommend doing so. You almost certainly get destroyed by him at that point. We've gotten just enough experience that it is much more feasible to beat him now. This guy also makes reference to the fiend. He more directly indicates what he's like. He's a strange monk. Now, we actually get a cutscene as soon as we enter the Mantra's headquarters. Chiaki is here waiting for us. It's been a while since we've seen her, not since Shibuya. Yeah, it's not getting any easier. What's up? Yeah, create a reason to conceive a new world? Guess that's why the world-ending event is known as the Conception. I do have to admit, it seems a bit odd that you're going for such a bold plan when you don't have any demon power yourself. So it looks like Chiaki was also recognized by the Kagetsuchi. And here we get our first formal establishment of a reason. While Hikawa told us about Shijima, he did not formally establish it for us. So you feel like the world has become a little too complacent? Sorry if I went through the text a little too fast. She said the power of creation will be mine. I'm a little bit of a speed reader, although not a hugely fast one. Sounds vaguely Darwinistic, but Chiaki is laying out for us the world of Yosuga. Now here we get our first chance to contribute to our ending. There will be several reasons presented before us throughout the course of the game, and depending on which ones we choose to support, that will decide what ending we get. Now, if you give any of these wishy-washy answers, you do not get a flag for the Yosuga ending. To get your first flag for the Yosuga ending, you have to agree to her. Now, I'm actually going to do that, because there is actually an alternative scenario that comes up if you support Chiaki here, but Yosuga has multiple flags to set, and if you reject Yosuga at the second flag juncture, then you don't have to worry about getting this as your ending, and you will instead be set on a different ending path depending on which reasons you chose to support or deny. Now, there are some misconceptions about how the endings in this game work. Very frequently, you'll see people talk about them like there's some kind of point system, like previous games in the series would, like SMT 1 and 2 had. And while this is technically true, the primary thing that influences your endings you get is just the flags that you trigger by choosing to support or deny the reasons that are presented before you. Should you choose to support multiple reasons and set multiple end flags, then a point system comes into play where certain dialogue choices advance you towards certain reasons, and depending on which one has the most points supporting it, that will lead you into whatever ending you get. If you do not want to get any ending for any reason, and there are endings revolving around that, just reject every reason. And then there are several dialogue choices that influence what ending you get outside of the individual reasons presented before you. And like I said, we're going to support Yosuga here. This is the only time we're going to support it. It's not the ending that I want to go for. This is also the only time we're going to support a formalized reason, because it actually does result in a significant difference at one particular point in the game that I'd like to show off. But yes, Chiaki is glad that we're supporting her reason here. But yeah, getting the endings in this game, once you know what the individual flags are, it's very easy to get particular endings. Incidentally, if you choose to support multiple endings, if you choose to support all reasons, I believe the one with the highest priority and the most choices influencing it are Yosuga, and the reason of Shijima that Hikawa put before us is the one that's on the lowest of the totem pole. There is another reason that will be presented before us that we don't know what it is yet. Now, don't quote me on that, that's just what I think it is. I believe I read that. It is not something I'm 100% certain of, but based on what I've seen on the game, it seems pretty believable that Yosuga is the one that's prioritized out of all of them, because you get by far the most dialogue choices that seem to push you towards it. But Chiaki is gone, and there are several things for us to do within the Mantra HQ. One thing to note is that all jail cells that were previously closed, the doors have been forced open. There is a prison in the basement area that we want to go to in order to check out some of the stuff there. I forget if I actually checked it out in my previous videos from earlier in this Let's Play. But Isamu is located in the jail, in the basement area. If you talk to him earlier, you get some additional dialogue. Let's see, that is the Great Gate. We cannot go through the Great Gate, which is a back exit to the Mantra HQ. And it's actually the path we need to take to move forward with the game, but until we get all of the dialogue in Mantra HQ, or rather the unique cutscenes available to us at this point, we cannot go out it because the guards maintain their post. Let me see, I'm just trying to remember where the stairs leading to the basement are. I don't believe it's next to the elevator. I could be wrong on that, because I'm wrong on a lot of things when I don't practice games very thoroughly. Okay, no, this is the stairs, so it is next to the elevator. Other than that, there is something that we want to check out on the third floor. You may remember when we were in prison, we could see that there was a mystical chest in one of the cells, and now that the door has been forced open, we can grab that chest. But yeah, there's a cutscene with Isamu in the prison, and then Gozu-Tennoh also has a cutscene for us. While we're on the subject of going through areas that we've been through before, and I'm setting up Astoma, the way Astoma works is that it prevents you from getting into encounters with enemies that are a certain level lower than the Demi-Fiend. Many websites, including the wiki, just say that it lowers the encounter rate, but that is not the case from all I've played of this game. It doesn't seem to have any major effect on it. It may decrease the danger values a slight amount, but not a huge amount. Let me see. Over here, this area has a mystical chest. This is a waxing Kagetsuchi. Come on, move forward enough for it. Yes, it is waxing. Alright, let me just get it up to full, because there is a chest here. Alright, we're at full Kagetsuchi now. Opening up this mystical chest, we get a Bead of Life, the ultimate healing item in the game. Restores your entire party's HP and MP to full. One thing that I want to draw attention to, and it is completely guaranteed that you can have at least one of these at this point, is to have either a Great Chakra or a Bead of Life for an upcoming boss battle, because it'll be very handy. Outside of their use in battle, Beads of Life can be sold for 10,000 Maka, which is a pretty tidy sum, but I don't really need that kind of money right now. In fact, once we get to a certain city, my money problems will be solved for a while, but we'll get over that. We'll go over that when we get there. But here is Isamu. He is the other person that you need. He is one of the people you need to talk to move on with the game at this point. Yeah, I just heard that from Hikawa himself, actually. Yeah, no such luck in actually finding her. I believe if you come down to talk to Isamu before heading out to the Assembly of Nihilo, he nudges you to go there in the event that Mr. Cow is there. Looks like Isamu is a little frustrated with his place in the Vortex world. Oh, wow. Might be something to check out for us. Ah, the Kabukicho prison. Alright. Yeah, I can see that. I remember the warm welcome you got when here. Yeah, there's not much place that's safe for you, Isamu. Now, beyond that door... what the heck. Let's just go check it out instead of me saying it. So, going beyond this door, there are no treasure in this jail area. We come across this wall here. You are not strong enough to open it. You need to have a high natural strength stat to open this. The number escapes me at the moment. I want to say 30, but I think it might be a little bit lower. The lowest I'm willing to say it is 24, but that almost certainly seems wrong. I think it's like between 28 and 30. 30 is the absolute highest I'm thinking it is, but otherwise I don't remember offhand what it is. But once you have a high enough strength stat, you can force that door open, and beyond it is a terrible Magatama. But we're going to be getting all the Magatama in this Let's Play, so I'll be getting it anyway. It's going to be a very, very long time before I can get that, though, because obviously I do not have anywhere near the strength to get it at this point, and it will be a very long time before I could get it. Man, I feel dumb. I could have just taken the elevator down here. I always forget that you can take the elevator because I'm so used to coming down to that floor through the stairs. Now, like I said, there was another mystical chest for us. Unfortunately, it's a waning moon, so I have to run around for a bit before we actually... Oh, wrong way. Before it actually becomes available for us to open. I was just burning time on the Kagetsuchi. That's why I went that way. Alright, let's head on through the door. I said let's head on through the door. I was trying to mention this earlier, but Astoma blocks enemies that are... I don't know the exact number. It's between 10 and 12, I know that. I want to say it's 12. Enemies that are 12 levels lower than the Demi-Fiend, it'll block them. Or, at the very least, enemies that are 10 levels lower, which might be more accurate. We're not running into any Tarakas. We're only running into Oni, who are level 25 and are well above the cutoff point. So, 10 is probably the number, but it could be 12. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on anything. Alright, I'm just gonna burn time on the Kagetsuchi. Alright, the Kagetsuchi is full, so let us open up this mystical chest and get a very good item, a strength incense. Could use as many of those as possible. Unfortunately, there are not too many guaranteed pickups for strength incenses in this game. I can only think of 3, including this one offhand. But we do have chances to get some randomly, which I will probably be showing off relatively soon. One of the ways you can farm particular incenses, because we can much more easily do it. Like I said, there aren't any big purchases that need to be made anytime soon, so I can be a bit more frivolous with my incidental expenses. The Pisaka purchase is the most, the one big thing I really had to spend on for quite some time. Once we actually do get to some Magatama we want to purchase, I'll have more than enough money to afford them all for a particular trick that I'm going to do. Heading up this way. You know, I should really put Kikura Hime in the stock, because she does not really have much in the way of direct offense. Zochu was certainly much better in that front. Okay. By the way, this area outside Gozu-Tennoh's room is actually a pretty decent grinding place, because you constantly run into just Bobkas, and as long as you have Kamudo on, they're not too threatening. Needle Rush can crit you to death often, which is annoying, but as you can see, they're weak to Elec and not really resistant to anything besides Fizz, and actually, it's pretty good that I checked this out. I didn't realize Force Magic was neutral to them, because they use Force Magic. I always just assume when demons use a particular magic, they're resistant to it, but that's not always the case. Yeah, let's see how Gozu-Tennoh is doing after getting nailed by the Nightmare system. What a miserable existence it must be being the mannequin servant of a guy who is absolutely detestable towards them. Well, your army was kind of dumb and didn't actually lay waste to the actual assembly. Man, this one's shakes are even more violent than the typical mannequin. Looks like Gozu-Tennoh, despite this humiliation, he will not let it end here. Now, regardless of whether or not you respond to him positively before you head out to the Assembly of Nihilo, he does not deem the Demi-Fiend worthy of his strength. I wonder, though, who could utilize his power, or at least who he feels would be worthy of it. Just something we're gonna have to ruminate on. But yes, Gozu-Tennoh falls, and while his spirit persists, his physical body, which is just a statue, it is not around. Oh man, what a way to go. Well, that was something. Yeah, let's just get out of here. I'm sure that'll sort itself out. But yes, that is the fall of Gozu-Tennoh, and it'll be quite a while before we have to think about him again. Heading out here, we see our judge, jury, and executioner, Thor, awaiting us. And it looks like he sees the writing on the wall. Just power for its own sake. Didn't even have a reason for it. And if you hadn't already visited him, this is to clue you off that you should go talk to Isamu. But we've already talked to him, so now that we've done all the cutscenes here, the guards at the rear door of the Mantra HQ will now actually let you through. They will not block your way anymore. They realize there's no reason to continue their job because the Mantra are finished. So, we want to get out of here, and, no sense in cutting this encounter out. So, yeah, we want to get out of here. Now, like I said, there is a Fiend awaiting us in Ikebukuro, and we want to take him out. There is, in fact, 2 Fiend battles coming up back-to-back, so it's been a while since we fought Matador, but now that we have actually progressed further, we actually have 2 Fiend battles available to us. And, naturally, we're going to have or well, not 2, but a trip into the second Kalpa of the Labyrinth of Amala awaiting us once we defeat both of them, as we only needed 2 Candelabrum to progress further into the dungeon. Let me take this one out. And use Wing Buffet, and there we go. Oh, sorry, that's Wing Buffet. I always misread that as Buffet. But that is what we will be getting into in the next video. Better set my rappel up again. And heading down this way. Now, instead of walking all the way back through Mantra HQ, instead, we can just jump off here. And we can pull a Dante. Unfortunately, unlike Dante, the Demi-Fiend does not quite have Leon S. Kennedy tier knees, so we take quite a beating by doing that. Everybody in the active party is reduced to 1 HP. You can mitigate the damage from this by just putting all your demons in the stock and then having the Demi-Fiend jump off by himself, but that's not so necessary, especially since we're right by a healing fountain. So let's hit that up, let's get ourselves restored, and then we'll save and end the video here. And like I said, we're going to have back-to-back Fiend battles in the next video, and then we're going to travel a little bit, but after I get to the next destination and set up our next save point, or our next teleport location, then we will be heading into the Labyrinth of Amala. So let's get our save made here. Alright, all good there. Always make multiple saves when doing a Let's Play. You definitely do not want to have to redo a video and find out that you saved over your progress, and that can put you in some bad situations. I know that full well. Alright, but that is it for this video. Sorry this was a pretty cutscene heavy one, but we are going to have a boss bonanza coming up next video, so I hope you stick around for that. But as always, I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope to see you in the next video, my fellow fiendish friends. Until then, goodbye.